Hey, what's up? What's up? How's it going, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yeah,
Craven, how you doing, man?
uh, doing doing good. How are you doing, man? I'm hearing voices. Hold on. Hang on a second. Oh, there we go. Much better. Sorry. I'm doing good. How are you, man?
I'm great. I'm chilling, hanging out on the Lethal Collective on Monday. It's
Yeah,
great. We may
yeah.
only have 50% of the collective today, but it's something.
Yes, it is.
Something.
That's right.
We got a few wonderful people in the chat too. We got Jen Warner with us tonight. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday.
Yeah.
Love it, love it. Jennifer's with us too. Happy Monday as well.
Hey,
Good stuff, good
Jennifer.
stuff. What's up? Lots of Jens in the chat tonight. Memo Boy saying specifically hello to you, Craven. So I'm
Oh, well, hello, Memo boy. Great to see you, man.
little jealous, little sad over here. Got to be honest, but okay. Jacob Myers is with us too. What's up? What's up? How's it going? Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody to the chat.
Hey, man.
So,
Yeah.
Craven, how are you doing this week? Anything crazy you want to get off your chest about horror movies?
Hmm. Not really anything too crazy, man. I'm just really hoping that Five Nights with Freddy, Five Nights at Freddy's is gonna be awesome. Yes, I'm ready to see Matthew Lillard on the big screen in a horror movie
Me
again.
too, man. Me too. Absolutely, dude. I am so excited for this. I
Hmm.
can't wait for it, man. I mean, he hasn't been in a big horror movie in what feels like an eternity, So to see him kind of come back, he's been on shows
Yeah,
and all that, sure, but this is a big comeback in my opinion. I'm excited for this one.
me too, man, for sure.
Absolutely, man. We
Ah,
got some more people rolling up as well. We got Nathan
yeah.
Mills. What's up? What's up, Nathan? How's it going?
Hey, Nathan.
Preston is wondering if there's an update on the Strangers trilogy. It's coming out in August, but almost
Hmm.
July now and nothing still. It's coming out in August. No, it's not. What?
Hmm.
Oh, if it was coming out in August, there's no way. I promise, Preston. Man, that would be wild if they just did absolutely no marketing for that movie,
Yeah,
especially when they have three of them coming out.
that's right.
Yeah, that's crazy. Mega
That.
Giants is with us tonight. Oh, sorry, man. Were you gonna say something? Didn't mean to
No, I
interrupt.
was just gonna say that would be terrible for the future of that for those movies if they do that.
Yeah, I want him to make all three. I hope
Exactly.
not. That would suck. That would suck big time. Mega Giants is with us. What's up? What's up? Jordy,
Hey,
the chunky Jordy. What's going on? How's it
what's
going?
up? What's
What's
good,
up? What's up?
Gina?
What's up with Fate? 3 weeks in a row, he's MIA. Fate's got a lot going on. He's
Yeah,
battling a ghost face killer. It's a lot.
a
He's
lot.
a busy guy, a real busy guy with his hundreds of channels. He's got a lot going on. Extron's with us too. What's up? What's up? How's it going?
Hey, yeah.
Welcome, friend. Welcome to the channel.
Always good to see you.
Carl Kelly's with us too. Super awesome new stream. Love it.
All
Love it. Love it.
right.
Good stuff. Hell yeah.
Welcome. Yeah.
And yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's and Saw X releases on the same day in
I
October.
know. Isn't that nuts, man?
It is nuts. Craven, are you planning on seeing both of these opening night?
Maybe it's real possible. I'm not sure yet. I'm real curious to see if either of them come out on streaming. I don't think they will. I think they're going to release, like most movies are now, going straight to theaters again, like they used to.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I'm gonna wait and I'm gonna see. I may watch. I plan to watch them opening weekend. I don't know that I'll watch them the same day though, but we'll see.
So we
Play
do
by
got
ear.
Five Nights is going right to Peacock
It
immediately on
is.
its release.
Oh, I'd say I didn't know that. Okay. Well, I'll be watching that the minute it drops. If it drops at midnight on Thursday, the night, whatever, whenever it drops, I'll watch it immediately. So that's good to know.
Hell
So then
yeah.
that's doable then, if that's the case.
There you go. So
Yeah.
watch that or see Saw X in theaters, go home
Boom.
and watch Five Nights at Freddy's at midnight or whatever.
That's
There
right.
you go.
I mean, literally, like what I did with Halloween Ends, I watched it and I literally logged into live stream the minute I stopped the movie. So it was like an out of the theater, even though I was at home, reaction. Non-spoiler too, which was still the toughest stream I've ever done to
Oh
this
yeah.
day. Yeah. It's hard, dude.
There's a lot in that movie not to spoil, with how
Hmm.
it wraps up. I mean, it is still the ending to, the trilogy, so it does still kind of wrap up the story.
Yeah.
But I think the big thing that was tough with that was just not talking about how it's a completely different movie from anything of the other two films. That's what was so
Hmm.
tough, and like especially doing my review for it. It's like, how do I talk about this? Like it's the whole movie's about this other character actually. So like how do I explain that in a non-spoilery way?
Exactly. It's hard.
It's hard, it's fun, but it's part of the job.
That's right, man. And hey, and people seem to really enjoy it too. Like, and they understand like you're having to dance on, walk on eggshells, and trying to pick your wording. It challenges your brain because you have to think of just the right way to say it. And so typically my responses would be longer or slower because I have to really process it. You can't just go off your cuff, like you would normally.
Right,
But
right.
but I love the opportunity though to be able to watch a movie like that and then just bang, hit it. And
Yeah.
so that's cool.
And just be
That's
able to
cool.
talk about it like
Yeah.
immediately. There's something about that freshness of like just getting off of a movie and immediately being able to talk about it. There's something like I kind of like that. Like I know a lot of people like the rage on YouTube these days is these like in-depth like 47-minute long reviews and all that. I like the
Mhm.
ones where it's just people coming out of the theater with their excitement, and all that. I just those are
Yeah.
the ones that I typically like to watch. But I don't know.
Hmm.
I guess that's just me.
Heck yeah,
But
man.
heck yeah, man. Jacob Myers is saying what's sad about Halloween Ends is that there's not even a single mention of Dr. Loomis like in the novelization. That I have you read about the differences between the novelization versus the movie?
Just little. I've heard of bits and pieces from different folks, but I've never sat down and really analyzed it. No.
I also have not read it. I've read articles about what they changed and what they added to it, and it seems very very cool. Like there's a lot more backstory. There's more Dr. Loomis involvement, like we were talking about. I think they handle Corey and Michael's like a little better, like the balance between the two.
Oh.
Um, just based off, like I said, but just based off of what the little things I know about it. But um,
Yeah.
makes me sad that we couldn't see that in the film adaptation.
Yes, man. Totally.
Oh yeah. Thing Ends is good, but it definitely should have been a standalone. It's not the end of the trilogy. Yeah, I agree. It's an
Yeah.
interesting idea. I think that the concept is great. It's just
Hmm.
the execution of it I'm not crazy about. With Corey, like having the transference of evil from Michael into another character. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah. It would, like you say, a standalone movie. It should have been its own new beginning. Of course, then you kill the new antagonist in his debut movie. That's just like, what are you doing? How do you spend an hour and a half telling us about this character and showing us his story, and then you just kill the guy? Like, well, this was all for nothing. Like, seriously, it was literally all for nothing, dude. That
Yeah.
was the frustrating part for me. Because if he lives, at least it makes sense. Like, okay,
Like
it's going
yeah.
somewhere potentially. No, just kill the guy after you invest an hour and a half in him, and then it's all for basically nothing. That was what I wrestled with for a long time, man.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I've watched the movie so many times, like it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm starting to like bits and pieces of it, but like at the
Hmm.
conceptual level of this is what we're gonna do for the last part of this trilogy,
Mm,
I can never really get on that on its side. You know what I mean? Like
I
that's
do.
my big thing about it. But it's executed well. I mean, like there's
Oh
like
yeah,
parts of it where
for
I'm like,
sure.
okay, this is this filmed really nice. I like the cinematography here and all that, but I
Yeah,
can't.
man.
I'm just not on board with the movie altogether, though.
Yes, 100%.
Oh yeah. Is saying if I was filming Halloween Ends, I would go by the novelization, except for a few changes to make it even better. Nice, including the ending. I do the ending to Halloween Ends was cool. I will say that the Michael. We can spoil things now. It's been like
Yeah.
7-8 months or whatever. Come on.
Oh yeah.
Michael getting thrown into the meat grinder was pretty sick.
Yeah, it was. Oh, dude, that was very definitive. Let's put
Yeah.
it that way.
There's no getting around that, man.
No,
There's-
that was it, my friend. And he's not going to come out of that.
you just have a meat blob sliding around with a mask on. It's like,
Oh,
ugh, he's
yeah.
still coming. He's still coming for you.
Oh, dang.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah.
Alex is saying it was set up and marketed as Laurie versus Michael finale, but only dedicated this Act 3, hardly the Act 3 of the film to that. Yeah, but I
Yeah.
agree, Alex.
It's true.
It was a cool fight when we got there. It's
Mhm.
like, okay, but it wasn't anything we hadn't already seen in the previous two movies, too, though,
Yeah.
on top of all that.
Yep. That's right.
Very odd decision making. But yeah, so talking about getting into some Scream 7 talk as this
Okay.
part
do
of
it.
this video is aptly named, though.
Mhm.
So we haven't gotten a whole lot of crazy news in the previous week. Is there anything that you're excited to see in Scream 7 though, regardless?
I really think I'm excited to see, the core four back, of course, and I'm going to be excited to see the announcement made that they got Melissa Barrera locked in and Jenna, because I'm nervous about them, as far as their ability to get them back. So I'll be excited for that on just an actor's level, and I hope Radio Silence comes back to finish the third movie. That I would hate to see another director come in, and then, I mean, not to say they won't do a good job or anything, but I mean, you kind of like feel like Radio Silence started these new characters. They should be able to do the three movies, do the trilogy, and then who knows what the fourth movie, Scream 8, what that brings. Maybe you start over with a whole new protagonist. I mean, it's not impossible to think at that point for Scream 8, Jenna and Melissa won't be able to do it. That's very possible. But I do want to see them back, Jake, and I want to see Nev Campbell re-signed. I want that announcement. I'll be so happy to see her back, and I want to see her return. This may be a little bit of a hot take, but I want to see her back in a prominent role, like the original trilogy kind of a role. Scream 2, Scream 3. Like Scream 3 was great. I mean, I know she was only there for 20 days, 21 days,
Yeah.
but it didn't feel, at least for me, it didn't feel like that. Like when you watch the movie, I think that it didn't. I wasn't like I'm missing Sydney. It's like when she was there, she was on point. I mean, she always is, but you know, I really want to see her back as a big part of the story with Sam and Tara, and Chad, and I want Mindy. Because I'm kind of going to go a little bit long, but and I do want to see the opening kill of being either Mindy to just shock the world. Because
Oh man.
think back to the original, the original openings like Cotton Weary, right? You want this is their Scream 3. So if you're going to kill one of the existing cast members, if you're going to follow the Wes Craven model, which they've done pretty closely, and that's the question I'm going to ask you because I want to see what your answer is. I've already said it. I'm going to say Mindy or Danny would be the opening kill for Scream 7 if they're going to follow the Scream 3 Cotton Weary route. Now, do you think they'll follow that route? And if so, who do you pick for the opening
I
kill?
don't. So I got two things with that. I don't know if it would make sense to kill Mindy at the very beginning of the movie. I don't know.
Okay.
Like, what's great about Scream 2 to Scream 3 is that we set up perfectly at the end of the film. Like, Cotton Weary is gonna do anything to get fame. It's like, was he gonna shoot Mrs. Loomis at the end there if Sydney hadn't agreed to that interview? Like, what was going on there? So immediately in the opening scene of Scream 3, he gets his comeuppance, and it's like, bam! Oh, well, you're taken out now by Ghostface. And there's something satisfying about that. Like that's really good writing, I think, from Scream 2 to Scream 3 to see where this character ends up. And I feel like that makes a lot of sense. Like that makes a lot of sense to kill Cotton Weary in the opening scene. It's not just because he's a main character. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's the biggest thing. I don't want them to just like take a dart, throw it at a dartboard with all the names of the characters and kill one of them in the opening scene. But I feel like we could kill a character that's been around for a while to start this all up again. Maybe not for too long actually, but Josh Segarra is a great opening kill in my opinion. I think he like I
Yeah.
don't really know why he survived the last movie.
Hmm.
He easily could have been a kill or a better red herring in my opinion in 6. I think they should off him in the very beginning of the next movie. I'm not like as attached to Josh Segarra as I am any of the members of the Core Four,
Yeah.
and I think it would just be really tragic for Sam and would send her down a certain path in this next movie. Things have already gotten so dark and so depressing for her. Like to take that even a step further, like what does that do to Sam as a character? It could make Scream 7 one of the darkest films from Radio Silence yet, I think, if we were to do something like that. And it would just be kind of fun. I don't want them to mirror Scream 3 entirely, you know, like if you
Hmm.
want to do that, I think it makes sense right now because we have a lot of characters. There's so many people who are just simply not Ghostface that are going to be entering the next movie if we bring everybody back from 6 and Sidney Prescott and Mark Kincaid on top of that. Like
Yeah.
who's like there's going to be one new character and they're going to be Ghostface, you know, and that's going to be like just so obvious. So we do got to start knocking off some people, I think for sure. We got to start killing some legacy
Hmm.
characters, but with purpose. Don't just have it be throwing at a dartboard random name. Okay, we're killing this person now.
Fair enough, man. Do it with purpose. Yeah, it's just hard to imagine Danny surviving 7. I mean, he could, but yeah, I think that he's a good chance he dies, and it could be the opening. I mean, who knows? You know, you could see him getting ready to leave and go to work and or whatever, and all of a sudden, bam, he's out. And like you say, the effect on Sam, that'll be, tormented, kind of like, she's always, well, like Sydney, there's always something with Sydney, like the boyfriends, and Derek and Billy. Um, so yeah, I think that's a good possibility that we lose Danny in 7 for sure.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
I just want like I just don't want to go into this movie with like more characters who aren't the killer. You know what I mean? Like not, I
Yeah,
feel like if you survive a Scream film, you move into the next one, you're not going to be the killer. You know, and it's not because like I'm not saying that because it's like, oh, well, wouldn't it be surprising if they made like one of the core four members the killer at this point? I'm like maybe it would have some shock value to it, but would it hold any
yeah.
truth? Would it hold any weight?
Hmm.
Like emotionally, would it be really upsetting? Like, would it make sense? I think is the big thing for me. I just don't know if I could get behind that, especially after these characters have already survived a Ghostface killing in the previous movies. It's something where it's like, yeah, that would be a shock, and I might not be looking at these characters, but I just don't think it would make any sense.
That's fair. I mean, Mindy's the only one that I think is suspicious of the core four personally. Especially like with 5. With her passing out for 30 minutes in the third act, and you know, and even in 6, I mean, she conveniently gets stabbed in the arm. Now she does take some stabs to the stomach in the subway. I'll give her that, but I don't know. I mean, if you had to ask me to pick a core four member that could be a third killer, or not third killer, but an extra killer, I would put my money on Mindy. Her personality too, I could see her doing it. You know, more so than anybody else. But I don't think they'll do it though. No, I don't think so.
It would be I think it would be tough to do that because we've gone like I
Yeah.
said, we've just gone through two separate groups of killers now at this point,
Yes.
and like to say she wasn't involved with any of that, I don't like it would be I don't know it would be an odd choice. I think it would make me
Right.
scratch my head a little bit because it's like, well, then why didn't she team up with any of the other killers? You know, her motive would have to be something wildly different. You know, it'd
Hmm.
have to be something so out there that she would never agree with those killers, but she has her own agenda.
Yeah.
That's the other aspect of that I just
True.
don't. I couldn't. I'd have to find you'd have to find a good way to get behind something like that, I think.
Yeah. Like what's the motive?
Right.
Yeah.
what is Mindy? What would Mindy's motive be? You know, like out of all the core four members, I can't think of too many reasons why they would want to kill somebody besides like Sam. So it would be
Yeah,
tough.
yeah. I mean, she's already got Ghostface blood in her,
Right.
literally, you know. And we've seen her, and I loved seeing her in six. Man, again, it's funny, Jake, because my two favorite kills, or my favorite. Let me rephrase that. My favorite kills from five,
Yeah.
and my favorite kill from six are both Sam's kills in the finale. I like them over all the Ghostface kills. And obviously they're very dramatic and they're amped up. And that's why I love them. But could you imagine, and I don't, and I know that, and I haven't seen it yet, dude, but I saw your thumbnail about Sam being a Ghostface, and I need to watch the video. I just haven't got to it. But but I'll tell you, man, could you imagine, guys, a whole 2-hour movie of her in a costume, killing like she did Bailey and Richie, getting those level kills, Jake, for the whole movie, not just one at the end. I mean, dude, that would be insane. That would be the most brutal Scream movie of all time.
I I have talked a little bit about how like if Sam goes Ghostface, I don't think it's completely out of the question at all. Like I think it would just be a really interesting move for Scream 7 to take, and especially because we want to tell a story with the core four again. We want to tell a story with the legacy characters again. People are aching out here. We want some Sydney
Yeah,
Prescott in our lives, but how are we
yeah.
gonna organically incorporate her into the story at this point,
Hmm.
especially with six that in my opinion, I just don't know how they could have possibly fit Sydney into that story. Like the movie would have had to been like 30 minutes longer in order to get Sydney in there. You know, I just don't know how she could have worked herself into that story, and I'm worried I'm going to feel the same way about Seven. So how do we do that? How do we tell a story with the legacy characters and the core four? You make Melissa Barrera the killer. Like it's that simple. You make Sydney Prescott the final girl again, going after whoever the new Ghostface is, and it's Sam Carpenter, who like I think has a very clear motive already. Like if you say that there's more people on the Reddit thread that are trying to finish Richie's movie, it's like, yeah, Sam wants to kill all those people. Fuck him.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, she literally is teetering constantly on the line anyway. And we know that. And I loved how she's like, when she told Dr. Stone, it felt right, and that's of course when he freaked out and started shaking and sweating and, you know, you're like,
Right.
oh, yeah, we got to end this. But, I don't want you around them in this room. But yeah, I mean, it would be natural. It would be. And none of us would be like, or none of us would question the decision, I don't think.
No, it would feel organic. I
It
mean, I
would.
think they made a good. They've set it up nicely. I guess is my point. You know what I mean? Like
Correct.
it's something that's been so hinted at in the background of the past couple of movies. I think it would just be sweet if
Yeah.
they did something like that. Versus having another Roman character come out of the woods or whatever. I don't know, man. I'm just like I don't want Roman 2.0 where it's I'm Christina Carpenter and I've been running the show the whole time. Like I don't need that, man. We got to let's do something else. Let's not just make it a Scream 3 clone. So why not show us a movie from the killer's perspective? Um,
Right. Yeah.
but swapping the conversation over to the Saw franchise, Lighting Ghost is throwing $5 over there. Thank you so much, my friend.
Hey.
I appreciate that.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, thank you.
buddy.
Saying I saw on Twitter the editing and sound and everything for Saw X is done, and the trailer and poster
Ooh,
will be coming soon.
yes.
Perfect timing, I'd say, to be getting a trailer and poster and all that for the film. Considering we're getting closer and closer to October here, my favorite time of the year. Super excited for it. Can't wait. Are
Yeah.
you excited for Saw X, Craven?
I am pumped up. I've been excited for this movie. And when they announced that Tobin was back and Shawnee was back, I mean, man, I honestly, this is outside of Scream 6, obviously, that aside, and this is the one I may call my most anticipated film of the year for me.
Hell yeah.
I really do. I think it's Scream. Saw X, and then Five Nights at Freddy's. And again, Five Nights at Freddy's. Again, I've never played the game or anything. Although I may purchase it just as I play it, one of the games. But the reason that obviously the Matthew Lillard connection has got my attention, right? Um, and I love this. There's a lot of great horror movies that are coming out in between and have come out. But yeah, man, I'm excited for Saw X, Jake, to answer your question. And I don't know much about it. And even though I'm a content creator and I probably should be researching it more, I don't want to. I really want to try to be a little blind on it, which means, I'm probably missing out on some good content I can make. But listen, when the trailer drops, I'm going to watch it. So, and you know what's going to happen, Jake? When I see that trailer, forget about it. I'll rip the Band-Aid off and I'll be just diving in. You know what's going to happen.
I was gonna say, man, I'm like, you're a better man than me if you can stay away from the trailer for that long. Dude, no way, man.
No way.
I'm so excited for this movie for many reasons. Like I enjoyed Spiral. I thought it was good, but it was just missing a lot of the fun pieces that the Saw franchise has. And then Jigsaw is an abomination. Like I don't think
really
I don't know. That movie that is like a 1 out of 10 in my opinion. Like it just rehashes stuff from Saw 2, and I don't know. And like there's so many little weird mistakes in that movie that make no sense. Like it's supposed to be in like the early thousands when that movie takes place, and there's like flat screen TVs all over the place in the barn and shit. It makes no sense. It's crazy. Like it's almost like they forgot the twist as they were writing it. You know what I mean? It almost felt like it came at the end. They're like, well, we need a twist. Let's just repeat the Saw 2 twist. Fuck it. So I don't know. Jigsaw doesn't do it for me. Saw X has got to be a comeback. Like it needs to be something that pushes over the franchise and gives us one last just killer return to form movie that I'm really hoping to see here. It's Kevin Gruder directing, who did Part 6, which is like my favorite. It's my favorite one of the whole franchise. It's so ridiculous. I love it.
Well, I'm actually rewatching the Saw franchise, and we just finished 5, so I'm up to 6 now. And I'm very excited to rewatch 6 because I haven't seen it since it came, like maybe because it came out originally.
Oh man, okay,
dude. So it's gonna be fun to watch 6 again.
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch it again this week.
Without a doubt, it's my favorite Saw movie. Like I love it. The first one's probably like the best. The first one's probably like the actual best, but 6 is, I just think that's the one that I go back to the most and watch. I think the traps are the best. They're super gross. The plot's really well done. I don't know. I'm a huge fan of that one. So we got the same guy that did that one doing Saw X, and kind of like a little refresher for these movies. There's so fucking many of them. So it's very easy to get lost in this franchise. Saw 7 is technically, besides Spiral, like the furthest one in like the Jigsaw timeline. Like Spiral is kind of its own thing. It's like a contained story to the side of like the big overarching story that we know and love. And Saw X is supposed to finally continue that, from Saw 7, where we kind of got ourselves into a little bit of a cliffhanger that has yet to be resolved after all this time. So I'm very excited to see what they do with that. If Carrie Elwes is back, hopefully, fingers crossed, it would be cool to see him.
It'd be amazing. I mean, like I say, Shawnee Smith. I mean, I hope it's not a cameo. That's my only worry. It's like I'm excited, and then we're gonna get there, and she's in like a 3-minute scene, and we don't see her. I mean, it still would be cool to see her again. Don't get me wrong, but I really. And again, how are they going to do it? That's the thing, Jake. Are we doing a prequel to? Are we doing a film that is in between 1 and 2? Maybe. I don't know. Was it because if you're bringing them back like for the real meat of that film, then it has to be, stuck in one of those timelines between those before they die, obviously.
Yeah.
So. What do you think? Do you think this is 1.5 or 1 1/3 if this was a Naked Gun movie? Maybe between 1 and 2?
That was the rumor for a little while, is that yes, it is going to take place back there. I'm not 100% sure if that's confirmed, but I'm pretty sure that is
Okay.
what's going on in this movie for at least half of it. So yeah, no, I definitely see them doing something along those lines. I think for me, what I'm looking for from Saw X is them just to not do the same thing that they do in like Saws, like let's say like not well, four a little bit, but especially 5, 6, and 7, where it's just
Yeah.
going back to what Jigsaw was doing and
Hmm.
how he was setting up all these traps for after he died. Like, okay, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like it's starting to, if we do another movie of just that, I'm gonna be like, dog, I don't know. I can't follow this anymore. This is like Jigsaw was the most prepared man on planet Earth. You know, I get he's supposed to be kind of a genius, but that's pushing it in my opinion. So
Yeah, man. All these tape recorders. And how do you know the batteries are going to last that long?
yeah,
I mean, think about that, dude. You better have some strong batteries, man. These tape recorders.
right. Yeah, so I'm hoping that if we do some flashbacks with John Kramer, it's setting up stuff about the apprentices and like the
Mm.
Jigsaw disciples. Like that's what I'm looking for, and seeing how that affects those
Hmm.
characters today. As they're going through different, they all have different takes on like what the traps are, what they represent. Like Costas Mandalore's Detective Hoffman, like totally, like he has a whole different idea of what he wants to do with the traps, and it's not
Hmm.
exactly what Jigsaw had in mind. So I wonder if
Yep.
we can set up something with John, and how that like those conversations from back then affect these characters today who are still alive. That's what I'm hoping they do in the flashbacks, and it's not just like, oh, this person this person took a shit on my doorstep, so now I'm gonna kill them viciously and violently in some trap. It's like, okay, Jigsaw, Jesus Christ, dude, relax.
Yeah.
But those are my thoughts on it. I don't
I
know.
hear you. No, it's good stuff. Very excited. That and Five Nights. What a weekend in October.
Oh yeah, weekend before Halloween, it is gonna be a fun one. I'll tell you what, man. So, Lighting
Yeah.
Ghost, thank you for the $5, my friend. We really appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Very kind.
Can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see what they finally do with that. So we got another question from Jacob Myers here saying, do you think the canceled Halloween movie Halloween Returns, which was the original 2018 movie, will it be filmed eventually in a different filming company since Dimension Films lost the rights to the movie? Do you know anything about this, Craven?
Not off the top of my head. I can tell you this though. Well, hmm, I'm thinking. No, here's one thing I know, Jake, from history, right? If there's a film that was set to be made and it didn't get made, it never gets made.
Yeah.
All right, all right, and maybe I shouldn't say never. That's very definitive. It rarely gets made. I mean, that's better, just in case.
Yeah.
Not saying it can't happen, right? But
Right.
my experience as a very old man, uh, at least I feel like a very old man. It I just never see it happen. Those movies just die. I don't know what happens. The script gets bought and it just gets in a vault. It's just the writers got paid. It just and I feel bad for these writers because I mean, look, first of all, they got paid, so amazing job. Probably got a nice paycheck. But the sad part is their story never got told. So Jake, can you imagine writing a movie, a screenplay, and they're like, Jake, we love your story. We're gonna pay you, $250,000. You just like, okay, I'll take it. You get your check. They say we're gonna put a movie out in 2 years on it, and 20 years later, your movie's still in a vault. It's
Yeah.
got to be like, yeah, sure, it was nice to, it was nice to drive around in your Corvette or whatever, but at the same time, whatever your favorite automobile is. But the thing is, that creative side of you, though, will still be longing, right? And because you are a filmmaker and I'm a creative, I don't make movies, but I create. And I know that there's a part of it that you want that to be seen. That's why you create that story.
Yeah, because it's not just for money. You're not
It's
writing
not.
horror movies if you want to just make money. You know what I mean? Like
No.
it's because you want people to see it. You want people to experience the story that you're writing, and hopefully it gets some kind of reaction. And for that to just not
Yeah.
happen, it's probably a rush to say that a studio's interested in making your movie, but it's got to kind of be the opposite when they don't end up making it. Even if you
Yeah.
do get paid, that's got to take a toll. That's got to
Hmm.
be like, wow, that sucks. My script
Yeah.
wasn't like they bought it, there's that, but it wasn't good enough for them to just like spend a lot of
Hmm.
time and money and resources towards it. That's got to suck. So I do feel bad for anybody that's had something like that happen. And if
Yeah.
you're a writer, if you're a director who was going to be attached to something but it didn't end up happening, I can imagine there's a lot of emotions behind that you don't get to see in a news update. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. But I don't know what your thoughts are on that question, Jake. But for me, my opinion on that is you will probably never see that exact movie. Maybe but could we see parts or maybe inspired by that someday? Maybe, but I'm not. I wouldn't expect it personally.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, just going back to like the Halloween 4 times, like John Carpenter was kind of like done with the whole thing, but he still like pitched an idea for Halloween 4, but that never happened. You know what I mean? Like that, and that's
Man,
John Carpenter, you know what I mean? He's one of the best
yeah,
horror directors ever, and they were just like, "Yeah, we're going to do this instead." And that just, it never happened. So, unfortunately, there is a lot of lost ideas like this. Pretty much every franchise has something along the lines of like a lost movie idea that just never got made. Craven
yep.
is very familiar with Scream 3's original pitch.
Yeah, I was about to say you beat me to it. I know, I know all about that. Here we are. 23 years later, and that never has been done yet. So, Scream 7 may take inspiration, perhaps, from it still, but we'll have to wait and see.
Anything is possible,
That's
anything's
true.
possible, man.
That's
Um,
right.
but my guess with Halloween is with how the reception was with Halloween Ends. I imagine it's going to be a bit before we get another one. Is the franchise dead though? No. Like we are
No.
absolutely getting another one of these. I mean, listen, the same thing that's going on with Halloween Ends right now is what was going on with Halloween 2 from Rob Zombie all the way back in 2009. 9 years later, another one gets made. Like it's not the end of the
Yeah.
world for Halloween fans. We'll definitely get another one at least in the next 8 years. We got to at least
Yes,
wait that long, but after that, we'll be talking Halloween again, probably.
I
It's
think so. And I'm going to be so bold as to say 5 years.
okay.
I'm going to even
Okay.
move it up faster. I'm going to say 5 years. They're going to pull the trigger, and we'll get an announcement. Yep.
It's got to be something different. It can't be the requel approach again.
Hmm.
At least in my mind, I hope that
Yeah.
they like. I was talking about Byron is asking like what company should do it, and my big thing, whoever does it, preferably maybe like an A24 or a spy or maybe Spyglass.
Yeah.
I really don't want a streaming service to do it personally. But like my big thing about it is I want them to take it back to the 70s. Like give me another 70s Halloween film. Like maybe Ty West does it, something along those lines.
Mm.
Just so it's not the same thing. It's not the same approach where this is H50 now instead of H40, H20, you know what I mean? It's
Yes.
something else.
Yeah. New protagonist, new everything. Just a fresh new story.
Right.
No Laurie Strode. No, we're starting new, something different. That's an interesting idea to go to the 70s, man. I mean, Ty West certainly showed he can make it look like it. He can make it look believable with what he did with X, and Pearl. Well, Pearl was even before that, but with X. And, I'm not opposed to going back, way back like that, but I'm also not opposed to a current day, Michael, like in our timeline now, being a modern Michael Myers, and it's a brand new person, and we just we learn whoever this person is that is going to be the final girl or guy or whatever. We just learn to like this new character. We it just needs to be written. It needs to be good dialogue, good story, man. Because the Halloweens that are in my mind the best ones are just character driven, story driven, and then you get all the suspense, and you get the cat and mouse, and you get the stalking, and all that stuff, all those other elements that we love. And Michael, of course. Um, I don't know. It's just going to be it's interesting. But the director's going to be key, and the writer. And Ty West is my personal
Yes.
favorite as well for the next Halloween.
He would do a great job with it, I think. And you
Yeah.
know, like you were saying, we just need something that's we need something that's fresh. And I don't know, like
Yeah.
after the last three movies, that definitely, you know, in the last one tried to do something different. I appreciated it. It's almost going to be like when we let's say we get back to this in like 2030 or something. You know, it's like it's
Mhm.
2030, Halloween's coming out. You're gonna want the same route with 2018 but different, you know, where it's like, okay, Michael Myers movie killing people, it's the 1970s again. You can't just come out the gate swinging with some weird shit, you know what I mean? Because then people aren't gonna take you. You're like, oh well, this isn't even a Halloween movie, you know. Think about the
Right.
criticisms with Halloween Ends. You know, I know a lot of people did like that movie, but majority of people did not enjoy it. You know, I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like we can realize that. So you can't come out the gate swinging with something really weird, but if you were to do something familiar, not so much in the sense of like making it modern, making it like nowadays, you could take it down that path. But I would argue Halloween 2018 kind of just did that. So what if we take it back to the 70s? What if we make it
Hmm.
something, a new story with 70s themed characters? That could be fun. But
It
I
could
want to see
be.
new people getting attacked by Michael, I think is the big thing for me.
Sure. Yeah.
However they want to approach that. But Byron, all the love, my friend. Hopefully, hopefully we get
Yes.
another good Halloween film at some point in the future. That would be nice. Um, Last thing I kind of want to go over though, just real quick, because I know we don't have a whole lot of time tonight, everybody, but I do appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. Um, I do want to just run past you. Have you seen Terrifier 2 yet? I'm just curious.
I finally broke down and watched it, dude. Yep. And it's interesting. After all the build up in my mind for that movie, I watched it and I'm like, this doesn't, yeah, it's not that bad. It was like, I think I was expecting something so horrific. And believe me, it's bad as far as like the gore and stuff bad, but it was actually came in under my expectations. So I was like, okay, all right, yeah. I mean, there was only one scene I just skipped through. It was the bedroom scene. And
Yeah.
after like, I mean, I watched a lot of it, dude. And then I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. I'm gonna just fast forward for like, but not that much. Like I probably skipped a minute and a half, as that was it. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I did watch it, and it was something else. I used to have, in fact, I used to sing. I was singing the darn cafe song, clown at the
Yeah.
clown cafe, whatever. Anyway, yeah, it was over the top for sure. You guys, you were 100% right about that. Um, but I still don't know quite sure who that little girl was. You know, the survivor.
Yeah.
The Art Junior.
Well,
But
hopefully they answer that in Terrifier 3.
yeah, man,
Do you have any excitement for that for the next one or?
curiosity more than excitement, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. It's not that movie's not gonna get me pumped, excited, but I will. I will probably watch it though. I will. Yeah, because I am curious, and I do like that they were trying to kind of have a story with the brother and sister and the mom, and all that, and so there was, that part was cool. Uh, so I'll watch it. Not a fan of it, but I'll still watch it. It is a slasher, um, extreme slasher, you know. But
Yes.
I mean, I think
Yeah.
it comes down to like, how are they gonna? I think most people are gonna be watching it to see how they can top the kills. A lot,
Yeah.
that's that kind of movie.
Yeah.
It's like, how are they gonna top the bedroom scene and that kind of stuff? And you know, I'm curious what the budget's gonna be for
Oh, way
3.
bigger. Way bigger.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're gonna have somewhere between like in the ballpark of 1 to 5 million this time around. Where
Ooh.
like the one, you know, Terrifier 2, that was quarter of a million.
Dude, look out. These kills might be ridiculous now. I mean,
Yeah.
like, slick, really good looking, because I mean, let's be honest, there was a couple in there, it was clearly, you know, I love practical effects, but there are levels of practical effects, just like there is anything else. And I like the practical effects where it looks like it looks like I can't tell. I can't really tell if that's a real head or not.
Yeah.
And when you get your budget increased, that's the kind of stuff you can do that realistic, more realistic.
Right, right, and I got to talk to the director and like some of the people that were attached to it and all that, and they talk about how they had skeleton crews, like there was not more than like 12 people on set or something like that for a
Wow,
shoot at a time, and there's
man.
so much little like weird like indie stuff that had to go into that movie. It's two hundred fifty
Yeah.
thousand dollars. That sounds like a lot of money, but not for making a movie. Like a lot
No.
goes into into making a big film like that, and that's it's an
Yeah.
epic. It's like 2.5 hours long, so.
Yes, it is.
I can imagine that with the next one, they're going to do the same thing. Like it's going to be long, it's going to be an epic, and it's going to be just crazy with the kills. At this
Yep.
point, even I know a lot of people, in Craven, I know you're on this train too, that didn't love it for being that over the top. But on the other side of that, if they go back on that now, it's like, well, then what does this franchise stand for? How does it stand out? So for me personally, I'm really hoping that they just go even farther into that, make it even crazier, make it something that like kind of even surpasses the second one, if that's even possible. But I'm
Right.
I'm just excited to see it. We got the news today that it's going to theaters. Finally, it's like it's going to go
Okay.
to theaters in 2024. It's going to the streaming service Screambox immediately after that. So lots of big news today for it. I'm super excited for it. And Alex is already hitting on what my theory video for my next Terrifier 3 theory video is going to be. So
Ooh, okay.
Chris Jericho, I think, is going to be the opening scene, but we'll talk about that at some point soon. Craven, I know we got to end early today, but is there anything else you wanted to throw in there before we peace out?
Uh, hmm. Yeah, no, not really. Just one thing I want to just share real quick with everyone, is that tomorrow is going to be a really cool thing going on. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern, I'm hosting Lee Waddell, who is the original Ghostface in Scream 1. He's going to come on. It's a live stream for 1 entire hour. And so I hope you guys will all come. It's going to be an amazing stream. And it's going to be it's just going to be, again, so much fun. He also worked with Wes in stunt work on the original Nightmare. And we're going to talk about that, as well as People Under the Stairs and Shocker, and of course, Scream. So all those Wes Craven films we're going to talk about, but most of our time will be on, of course, Scream. And so that's happening tomorrow. And last thing, Jake, on Thursday at 6:30 Central and 7:30 Eastern, we're watching Scream 6 on my channel with our special guest, Michelle Alberti, the production designer for Scream 6. She is coming back to watch the movie with us live. And she's going to be giving insight on the scenes as we're watching them. And I cannot wait because she had her hand on everything in this movie. And so if you want to see something she's never done a watch party, this is the very first time she's done this. So, guys, you're going to hear stuff that you're not going to hear anywhere else on this watch party. So, it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you guys can make it. It's going to be great.
Hell yeah, man. That sounds awesome. I'm hyped for it. Can't wait to
Thanks,
see it on
buddy.
Thursday, man. It's gonna be cool.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah. Good shit, good shit. Well, if you guys are looking for something tonight, though, old Jake is streaming at 7 o'clock p.m. in just about 30 minutes here. So come on over, hang out, and we're going to talk
Yeah.
horror and vibe. And I don't know, man. Maybe get a little weird with it. We like to do that around here. So
Yes, we do.
get a little sensual, get a little greasy. It's all good, man.
So,
It's what
Jake,
we like to do.
I have a question for you, man. I know we got, we're wrapping up here. We got like, less than 10 minutes to go. Do you want to kind of open it up to the chat just for some Q&A? Just
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
few minutes?
We got a few minutes. Why not, man?
Okay. So,
Absolutely.
guys, we're opening up. If you got a question for us for about 5, 6, 7 minutes, something like that, start sending your questions in. Let's see what you got.
I'm just gonna
Anything?
go.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna go through some of the things we got now.
Okay,
Just on
perfect.
here.
Yeah.
Extron is asking, how is it possible to surpass a lot of kills in slashers? I mean, it seems basic, but the Terrifier movies raise the bar for kills really high. Craven, just in general, like, what do you think like new slasher movies could do to make their kills more interesting?
Okay. So this is an interesting question because when you think about, and I'm okay, Lord, I could take 10 minutes explaining this. I'll try to do a shorter version, but there's a philosophy to all this, and you have to understand. So you can just kill for kill's sake, where basically you're going to see your main purpose is just to watch kills. Then you have the other approach where kills are complementary to the story, right? So you're going there, you're going to get kills, but you're going there but they fill out, they round out the story. Now, how do you make kills more interesting? Well, it depends on what you mean by that. So if you're talking about like a Scream, let's just say, for example, Scream is a great example of a film where the kills honestly are complementary. The story is what drives the Scream film, the character development, the storyline, and then there are kills throughout the film that happen. So how do you raise those kind of kills? Well, I mean, I think that it's more about who's killed, like we saw in 5 with Dewey. But that raised that raised the bar. So it can be who's killed, not just how they're killed, but it's who's killed, and of course how they're killed. You can always be different ways, creative ways, something that's unique to the franchise. The way I look at it, something unique. Now, a movie like Terrifier, it's a little different. Now, even though there was a story in 2, and I mentioned that, let's be honest though, it wasn't. It was really about, for me at least, it seemed like the kills were the main priority of the story. So that movie has a much higher bar to reach than a Scream or Halloween because they are making their film about the kills. Scream makes their movie about the story. And so the priorities are different. So I guess to answer your question, two ways. You raise it up. If you're a Terrifier and you're going to try to be a new film, like Jake, you and I are making a movie, and we're going to be a Terrifier type movie. Like, you know what? We're going to be a little bit of story, but we really want to focus on just crazy kills. Well, then our we have our work cut out for us because we're going to have to look at a movie like Terrifier 2 and say we have to elevate above that if we're going to be taken serious. And then you just got to go bonkers, total bonkers. And on the other hand, if you're story-driven movie with complementary kills, it's not as big of a deal as far as how you're killing. It's who you're killing, when you're killing them, and of course you can always be creative, like Chad with the double stabs and the ladder scene. Right there's ways to do that. So I talked a long time, but does that make sense?
Yeah, no, 100%. To me, kills elicit different reactions depending on what the setup is, which is why I think setup for a kill is more important than even what the kill is, what kind of kill.
Yeah.
Like let's compare like the Annika death to the bedroom scene in Terrifier 2. In a lot of ways they are similar, and hear me out on this. Like with Annika, right? We set this up where we know that her and Mindy are dating. We get this this bit beforehand where like they kind of like they're like freaking out, they think they're gonna die, and they kind of almost say their like goodbyes to each other just in case they don't make it, and then Annika gets knocked off the ladder and dies, and it's sad, and it's gruesome, it's horrific because of the setup. Like if just a random person got on that ladder and Ghostface knocked them off and they hit the ground, you might you might laugh, which is like a horrible thing to say, but it might elicit that emotion because it's so extreme. No matter what, a death is going to be extreme when you set it up a certain way. But if you set it up like in Terrifier 2 with the bedroom kill, it's a character who's so innocent and super sweet and does not deserve a death like that at all. It's so absurd to the point that you just laugh. You're like, what the fuck is going on? This is insane. This is ridiculous. So because like the idea of what a kill is so extreme, it's so powerful, it's the end of a life. It can elicit so many different emotions based on the setup, based on who it is, based on who's killing them. Dewey, is another good example. Like, Dewey's a beloved character. To kill them is taboo. People were pissed off when they saw Scream 5, and some people loved it, some people were offended. And it's so interesting how the death of a character can mean so many different emotions, not just like the typical thing you'd think, like sadness. It could elicit laughter. It could elicit offense. You could be pissed off by the death of a character. So to me, if you want to do something with a slasher film and make it make it stand out, make it have kills that are really effective, you got to know what emotion you want to elicit. You want to know what you're going for tone wise, because like they were cracking up in the editing room for Terrifier 2. I guarantee you that. No one was sitting there thinking, we're gonna make people cry with this movie. No way, man. Like, so know what your emotional intent is behind writing a scene like that. That's a big one. It's a big question, Extron, and I think that's why me and Craven really spun a good yarn with it. But yeah, slashers can. I think that's why I like slashers though so much. Craven is you can get anything out of them, and you never know what you're gonna get with them, even though it's such a simple premise.
True, I love them. My favorite.
Absolutely, man. Jacob is asking, if you had a time machine, would you go back in time to fix Halloween Ends?
Oh gosh.
What do you got to think about? What do you got to say about that, Craven?
Yeah, I would go back and change some things for sure. I would. Let me just put it that way. If they're out, I didn't mind Corey. I just wish he'd have been introduced in Kills at least, or in 2018 at best. Would have been wonderful. Then I would have already known who he was, and it would have just made a lot more sense. But I would, Michael Myers, this would have been in this movie a lot more, and he would not be a sick old man. He would be the shape that I saw take out the townsfolk on the street in Kills. And dude, that's who he would be in Ends. So I would change some things, and I would have him encounter Laurie twice. I would have that kitchen fight in the middle of the movie, but then he gets out of there and she survives it, and then we have a showdown in the junkyard at the end. That's the final battle, Jake, with Laurie.
Yeah,
and that one goes for 15 minutes.
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
Yeah, I totally agree. My big thing with Halloween Ends is like, I listened to the commentary track that David Gordon Green had for the movie. I was just like, I was so curious to hear what he had to say about it. And he's very confident in it. Like, he's very like, no, this is a good movie. Like, I'm really proud of it. Like, I genuinely really like it. And I don't want to say I was surprised by that, but I was like, to me, my big thing about it was I just didn't know, like, it just didn't feel like the same story they were telling in the previous two films. To me, I just think that there was a better way to tell that story, opposed to a Corey Cunningham, like a random character out of nowhere just coming in. And I think but the one thing I do agree with David on that he said in the commentary was that I didn't want to make another movie about Michael Myers just killing people again. And I do agree with that though. Like, that's my big thing. I wouldn't have wanted another Halloween Kills where it's just Michael on Halloween. He comes out of the sewers and starts murdering people again, because the more I think about that, the more I'm like, that would have been criticized too. Maybe not as harshly as Halloween Ends did, but if it was Halloween Kills again, where it's just Michael running around murdering people, the same movie we had just gotten the year previously, people would have complained. People would have gotten sick of that too, I think. So what is the approach with Halloween Ends? How do you make that a better finale? I think you just do the Corey thing. You just set it up better. You just set it up in a way that doesn't feel so random, so out of nowhere and misplaced. Yeah. If Corey had been a character through the 2018 and the previous film, I would have been
Yeah.
on board with it. Like, I don't think I even would hate it at this point if
Right?
that's the route they would have taken. It's like, oh, this is like, imagine if replace Corey with like Allison, for instance. Like, just say, just for instance, a character that's alive in Halloween Ends. Like, Allison starts losing her mind. She wants to kill people, and then somehow she gets into the sewers, and Michael transfers her evil into her or something, and then she starts murdering people. Like, I would have loved that movie. That would have been fucking awesome. It's just poor storytelling because you have this random out of nowhere character. I just think that one little fix makes the whole movie work, and it's a shame that they couldn't get that right. Or if they could have made Cameron the killer. They could have made just someone we know, we're familiar with, not eat up all the screen time. I don't know. And I could go on, dude. I could go on about that forever, though.
Well, it's like I hear you, and I agree 100% with you. It's the age-old complaint, like with the murder mystery books, a lot of times, where they'll introduce a new character in the final chapter that was never in the whole book, and it's like, what are you doing? To quote Fate, it's just that was a bad. I'm sorry, that to me was a bad choice. Not Rowan Campbell as an actor. He was great.
Right.
It was
right.
just as a writing choice decision. Put him in earlier. Jake, you said it. It all gets, maybe most of it, I won't say all, a lot of it gets fixed if we know who Corey is before we walk into that theater. We're already familiar with the character. And then we're like, oh, this is his backstory. Because he's been dating Allison since 2018. Cool.
Right.
New information. No.
And it would be tragic, right? Like, it would be super tragic to be like, oh my God, this, like, Allison's boyfriend, who we were mixed on at first, and kills, we start to like him a little more, think Cameron's arc, and then now, oh shit, he goes full blown evil. So it's not like totally like a out of left field decision. It's something that makes sense from the get go when you rewatch all of them.
That's
but
right.
Corey doesn't have, like, it's just so disjointed. It's so disjointed from the other two films. That's my big thing about it. If they weren't telling this big long story, I think I would have felt differently about the movie. But I don't know. It's one of those things I can't seem to enjoy, which is a shame, because I know a lot of people out there really dig it and are really big fans of it.
Yeah.
So I wish I could be on that train with you guys, but old Jake just was not feeling that one. But we're gonna peace out, but I do appreciate y'all for hanging out with us for like an hour. Like I said, come hop over onto KillJoy Jake in about 20 minutes. We're gonna be talking, keeping the conversation going, talking about horror movies. It's gonna be a fun time. So all the love to you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, and the collective has spoken. Peace out.
Bye, guys.